Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady, and welcome back. Today we are here talking with Trisha Shields, CHRO of Navient, and this is episode 5 of 5 in our series on HR technology myths debunked. So we kind of answered some questions already, but we're going to jump right back in. But first, before we let Trisha talk, I think JC has a question about your title.
Yeah, I do. And aloha, everyone. Welcome to the Friday episode. Trisha, CHRO, that technically stands for Chief Happiness and Resource Organizer, right? Because who wouldn't want a job title that involves spreading joy and organizing snacks, right?
I love that. That is going to be my new way of explaining that title. That's exactly it.
I had a vibe. Right on. Appreciate you.
However, the office snacks is not only what we organize, it's all the chaos in the entire organization. The snacks is just a benefit, especially if you're in Wisconsin and the snacks revolve around cheese.
That's right.
Yes, when I was in Wisconsin recently at a conference, I left the conference and drove to a farm and got a bag of cheese.
Cheese curds.
No, I did not get cheese curds. Okay. I got all these other cheese. The way they have them packaged, they weren't sure if they were going to make it through security. And I certainly did get busted at security, and the guys were just laughing at me. I go, it's all cheese, go through it. And they're like, okay. Anyways, with that said, let's talk a little bit more about this myth that only tech-savvy individuals can use HR technology effectively. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is really natural. I don't think as HR professionals, now my background is in IT, but I don't think that's really natural. Most HR professionals don't have that. Those historics. So I think that's a really, that is certainly a hesitancy. But I think that's even more reason to kind of own what our space is within our HR technology and make sure that we're asking questions and show up and be at the table to ensure that we feel really comfortable with what the technologies are that we're going to be utilizing. Because there's so much cool stuff out there now. We don't want to miss out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I wanted to mention about the tech savvy part is, I briefly mentioned in one of the previous episodes, is just because somebody could use the technology doesn't mean that they understand what they're doing. So I've seen this happen many times when there's an internet outage, or just a technology system, whatever goes down. And now people, HR, IT, you name it, just people, they don't know how to do their job now because they've relied on technology. And now when they have to do it manually, they've never done it manually. So they don't know what the heck the steps are. Or they just don't know the reason why we select this, we press this, we do this. They have no reason why. So please educate your people when you're changing into technology, when you're hiring, when you're recruiting. Everybody doesn't need to show up at the door knowing everything, but figure out what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what skill gaps are they missing, and then let me put them into, even if it's an online training program, a program that I can train my people of, this is the why we're doing this behind the scenes. So when stuff does hit the fan, they could figure it out and fix it. What are your thoughts on that, Trisha?
Yeah, and I think even when you're looking at technology, you can almost do some of that selection and that help on the front end. Look at what is the user experience going to be like from the employee's perspective, from the manager's perspective, from the HR professional's perspective, and ensuring that it looks really user friendly. Like technology does not have to be super complex on that front end. So I think really looking at it in that lens to ensure that it is really user friendly makes a huge difference on the back end.
Trisha, I have a question for you. It's kind of culminated through the past few episodes here as we've talked about this. Could a memorandum of agreement indemnify an employer in the instance of a cloud storage setup, let it be in the instance of a privacy concern, a compliance issue, or something to do with their data overall.
And just, I don't know, speak to that a little bit more. So an agreement between the technology vendor that you're using.
Exactly right. You know, you're going into business with them. You've got that agreement on the table. It's going to be for this software, this amount of dollars. Here's the terms of service between us. In that agreement, in that language, should a small business look for any thread of a sentence or words or something that could help indemnify the employer and just provide them that reassurance that, hey, our technology partner has this. They've got it covered for us.
Yeah. Like in a data breach? Is that what you're talking about, JC?
Or I even look at it, I think maybe even let's say you're going to use a cloud or even within your HRIS system that's going to have so much key data, so, many different pieces of key data in it. I think absolutely, I do see that type of language in some of those technologies. I think some of it just depends on the type of technology that you're looking to implement. Like we use a video technology with our candidates. It's not really holding a lot of confidential data in it. And so I think you'd be less likely to see that type of protection from the employer's perspective, versus a compliance, a technology that deals with compliance. You're more likely to see something like that.
I bring it up because there's some stuff looming right now in the realm of human resources regarding the American Privacy Rights Act that's going to be coming out here, impacting a huge swath of human resources in the coming days. And with that bipartisan bill being pushed through, it really changes the dynamics of controlling your personal data and that privacy end of things. I appreciate your answer. Yeah. Thank you for the feedback on that one.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say too was, thank you for bringing this up, JC, because this just makes me even realize more. It's important to have a lawyer review your contracts before you sign it. Speaking on the employer side, even if you're like, oh yeah, they're the nicest people ever. And, they said they're going to cover us and everything happens. How about you have a lawyer review those contracts, especially when you're going to be stuck in them maybe for a couple years and or expensive. And number one, regardless of the cost, they have access to your employee data. And probably more data too, bank accounts, things like that. So please get an employment attorney or a contract attorney involved when you're signing these things. JC, I see here a stat. I'm just going to jump in and take it over real quick because I'm really fascinated by this one, that it's only this. Research indicates that there's a perception that only tech-savvy individuals can effectively utilize HR technology. And that was a survey by SHRM that approximately 42% of HR professionals believe that technical skills are essential for effectively utilizing HR technology. And so I'm just kind of interested with that it's that high of a number, even that HR professionals are saying, yep, you have to have technology skills. I wish they would be saying, don't worry, we're going to teach you.
Right. Well, and I wonder too, as you say that statistic, what are they defining as technology skills? Yep. Because, I've been in HR for 20 years. So for me, all this new stuff absolutely is new technology that I need to learn the skills for. But I have somebody in the department that just started a year ago, fresh out of college. So like ChatGPT, she's been using that. So that's not even a skill she thinks she needs to learn. So I think some of it is kind of that difference in what do we define as technology?
Yeah, Carla in accounting is used to the card catalog and now uses a mouse. Big difference there. Big difference. Hey, additionally, a study by PwC found that 37% of HR leaders express concerns about the technical proficiency of their workforce in leveraging the HR technology. And these statistics highlight the perceived reliance on technical expertise for effective utilization of HR technology. Back to you.
And I think that also goes back to what Trisha just said about what do you mean by technology? It's so vague, right? The word HR is so vague too, because it covers so many things. And, ask better questions is my point. So with that said, we're going to wrap up here. Trisha, how can people find you if they want to hear more and learn more about Navient?
Yeah, I'm huge on LinkedIn. I love working with a collaborative network on LinkedIn. So I'd encourage people to follow me there for more content as I put that out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll make sure we have your LinkedIn profile in the description of the podcast. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode 5 of our 5-part series on HR technology myths debunked. We hope we helped you get this back straight, and we hope this information has been helpful. Thanks for joining us, and take care.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.